What's up,
no.
Hardies and Hardos? Episode 21.
Was that
Back
backwards
at it
bus or
again.
not? I can't tell.
No, I'm good. Backwards
I'm
to
just
me,
trolling.
but not
Come
to
on.
these guys.
Come on. You're getting trolled. All right. Welcome to episode 21. We got some nice action-packed things for you today. 4-person trivia for the first time ever. So
baby.
that's going to be
Go.
litty. We got our boy. Wow, I'm dropping pencils. We got our boy, kind of Forbrook here, back.
What's up, Hardies?
What are we talking?
You,
talking
so
some
you
NBA.
prefer Hardies, huh?
Hardies.
I've been Hardies the entire time.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh wait, what did we? When we were at Cowboy Jacks, it was between Hardies and Hardos.
Yeah, we're just going both, honestly.
We're allowing, We're
Yeah.
allowing our fans to choose what they are.
Wait, which is the one? Which won the poll? Hardies.
I think
Hardies won the poll.
Yeah, no, never mind. I'm Hardos.
Oh,
I think that's what me and Mike decided.
okay. Hardos over Hardies. I don't know. I'm good with either, honestly. Hardies
Right.
might have a copywriting issue, but
All
I don't know.
right.
All right, into the news as we start our newsworthy podcast with a little local Minnesota situation. Curl Kaprizov
Oh,
just getting some fake military IDs, I guess.
apparently,
that's super sweet for him. Allegedly in 2017, he bought a military ID. This was all found out when Flyers goalie Ivan Fedorov was arrested in Russia with these military IDs. And so they were linked to this guy that was selling military IDs. Krill was one of the guys that bought it back in 2017?
17. Yep.
17, yep. So yeah, there has been speculation that there's a warrant out for his arrest or reports of that, but there's nothing official on Russian documentation type situations. Documentation type situations. Super good grammar for Dylan today. Yeah, so it's just all alleged reports coming out of Russian media, which is obviously sketchy or bias, more propaganda type than actual news. So we never exactly know what's going on, but definitely some worry there. Apparently his agent, talked to him and he's safe with his friends and family in Russia. But
No, our GM.
Wild GM
Yeah.
talked to him. Yep. Okay. So yeah, I mean, he's okay, but obviously you don't want to be in Russia where you're being wanted in Russia. So that's not ideal.
Right. And he would likely, if he got charged or in trouble or whatever, would likely be forced to serve for the Russian military, is what I've been seeing. So that is not good. Hopefully we get that man back here to the United States safely before anything potentially happens.
Yeah, that would not be awesome. All right, second news.
But that would be the most Minnesota thing ever, though. Like, we finally get a monster, and then all of a sudden he can't come play because he's forced to serve in a Russian military. Yeah. Like, what? Only in Minnesota, Minnesota sports would be affected like this. But get back here safe, Kirill. We love you.
Yeah, I hope he's okay. Second news happened right before we're recording here on this fine Wednesday evening, and that is Baker Mayfield being traded. Panthers finally getting her done. Obviously, one of the big teams that was in play for him. We got traded for a 2024 conditional 5th round pick, which goes to a 4th if Baker plays 70% of the snaps this season. Essentially, that's 12 games, but obviously, that's rough estimate numbers based on percentages. So, but yeah, if he starts 12 games, if he plays well, they get a 4th round pick. But still, if he plays well at that point, you gave up a 4th round pick for a good playing Baker Mayfield. So it's worth it all day, every day for Carolina.
A year removed from people were talking like Baker was going to be, I don't know, at least pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, and then he had his shoulder injury last year, and they kind of just gave up on him for with that Deshaun situation. Looks just like a mess in itself right now, too.
Could be the worst trade in the history of sports.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Like, if this guy gets suspended for multiple seasons, or indefinitely, his contract is completely guaranteed.
Right.
And you just gave up essentially your next 3 years of picks for him.
Literally.
And then he's not going to play. Only the Browns Only the popping franchise.
I think even
Browns
one
would
season
get that done.
Literally, only the Browns. But I think even one season, if he suspended one whole season, it's up there for one of the worst trades ever. You already missed the whole freaking season out of him.
One thing I want to talk about on this too that is a classic Browns stupidity. Did you hear the Baker interview earlier this week about, or maybe it was late last week, and they asked him about like a reunion in Cleveland. Could he come back to the table? And he essentially said that would take them coming to me. And man, if I was the Browns, I would have went to Baker and said, here's the deal. You had your shoulder injury last year. It was tough. We obviously are idiots and signed ourselves up for this situation that's not working out for us. So it's mutually beneficial for you to come and play for us this year. We have the best team that you're going to go to because Cleveland has a way better team around him than Carolina does. And they could have had Baker for this whole season instead of Jacoby Brissett. And from how Baker sounded last week, all that would have taken is some reaching out to him. And obviously, it just would have been a win-win for both parties involved. So I think the Browns effed up this entire situation. If I got to be honest.
What's new? Browns messing things up. What's new?
Browns being Browns.
Browns being Browns, baby. All right. Well, should we get into her? Get into the real nuts and bolts here?
Let's do it. We're going to start with some off-season recap, essentially, trades, free agent signings, all the good stuff. We're going to just bring up a whole lot of things, honestly, and we'll just give our opinions on what happened, and we'll just kind of jump around. We won't spend too long on one particular thing, but I might as well start it off, and that is this offseason has proved that it's a stars league, the NBA. We got Jokic, Beal.
I hadn't noticed.
And if you haven't noticed, you'll notice now. Jokic, Beal, Cat, Book, Ja, Zion, and Levine all receiving close to or more than $200 million, with Jokic getting a 5-year, $270 million, which is the most in NBA history. We got 5 years, $251 for Beal with a no trade clause. What'd you say, Spinny, earlier before we started recording? 10th all time in NBA history only.
Yeah, and only current one in the NBA.
Yeah, insane. And then the rest, obviously, pretty similar. Cat and D-Book, same contract, 4 years, $224. John Zion, same contract, 5 years, $193. And Levine got a 5-year with $215 million. That's almost $1.5 billion paid to 7 players. It's insane to think about.
I mean, when your franchise is triple in value every 5 years, that's how that goes.
Yeah, none of these really shocked me, I guess. Obviously, we assumed. Well, actually, no. They did shock me. Beal and Levine, I predicted them to dip, and they didn't.
Told you, sir. That's a W.
I thought the one you were going to bring up was, if there was one on there that you would just be a little bit questionable about, I think there's one in particular, and that's Pelicans. You got to do it, but you're paying a guy that, what happened last year?
Yeah, maybe play or what?
Obviously, internally, they know a little bit more, but you're paying a dude that did not play yet last year.
He's only played what, 83 games out of his 3 seasons or something like that, I saw.
Right.
So, they paid him $200 million for essentially only playing 1 season.
He played 24 games his first season, and then he played 61 in his second season, which he was an all-star in. 27 points per game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. When he's healthy, the dude...
On what shooting percentage? At least 55.
61%.
It was,
61%. 27 a game, shooting 61%. Sweet.
Woo! So, that's the one.
That's the one.
Right. You got to do it. When he's healthy, he's right.
But Pelicans, it's 60 games also that we're talking about. But
right.
That's why it's sketchy, right? And the Pelicans, dark horse for Kevin Durant.
For real.
You do got the assets.
They could get him without getting up Zion, so.
Or McCollum. Just BI in those firsts.
Well, and they'd probably have to throw in Herb Jones too, I'm sure, but.
Maybe, but that's fine. If you have a big 3 of Zion, KD, and McCollum, it's pretty decent.
That can compete. Yeah.
Yeah.
That can compete for sure.
I think BI definitely would be expendable. I think to get Kevin Durant.
But BI's probably the best player that the Nets are going to get from like a offensive star perspective.
Right. They said they want an all-star in return, so.
Yeah. And I think BI is the most like fitting of that mold between like what the Heat are going to give up or the Suns giving up Ayton and Bridges. I think it's better than all those for sure.
I agree. I completely agree. How about you guys? What's another bit of news that's happened this offseason already in the NBA?
Well, we're going to recap pretty much all of it. So this seems like it's been done for 5 years already, but Brunson signed a 4-year, $104 million contract with the Knicks. Obviously, there's been tampering talks with that, allegedly, since then. So, I mean, his dad literally works for the Knicks, and the Knicks GM is his former agent. And so, yeah. So, I mean, makes sense.
There might be some tampering.
A little bit of tampering. What do you boys think about this?
The tampering aspect, with like that cast of like characters right there, that's gonna happen. Like if his dad's working for the team and his former agent's working for the team, I mean that's just gonna happen. So I don't think it's too big of a deal. But in terms of the fit, I mean the Knicks are doing the classic Knicks where they're getting. They're all none of them are dollars. They're all a bunch of quarters they got going on right now. You got
no. But see, they're setting the stage for a max player to come in.
Yeah, and we've seen that. We've seen that nobody wants to go there.
Setting the stage for 20 years, apparently 20 years.
Yeah, right.
Setting the stage.
Oh, and we like Jalen. We like Jalen Brunson.
No, we do.
Julius Randle, I'm not too big of a fan of.
Mid.
He did have that. He was a top 15 player 2 years ago?
He was not, but yeah, I guess he was by all NBA standards.
My UK boys, we don't roast them.
Mid K boys, you mean?
No roast.
K boys. UK is like the mid and annoying big man central of the world. Honestly, you're either mid or you're annoying. Honestly, I think that's how that goes.
Honestly, that's pretty accurate statement. Honestly.
We haven't.
Well, everyone that came to my mind, I'm like, okay, so you get like Willie Cauley-Stein, mid. Vandy, mid. You get guys like that, mid. And then you get AD, annoying. Cat, annoying. Like Boogie,
DeMarcus
annoying.
Cousins.
Yeah.
Calipari.
Literally either annoying or mid. Welcome to Kentucky.
We're not talking about Kentucky, though. But back on this Brunson thing, it was... Like Forbrook said, we like Brunson. We're happy to see him get the bag, but it's sad to me that that's the best the Knicks can do. They can just get Jalen Brunson, a guy who has had one good season pretty much in his career.
15th best point guard.
Right.
Ish. Mid, middle of the road point guard.
Do any of us think the Knicks are like they're bound to make like the play-in tournament?
They're
like
7 through 10.
I mean,
that's their ceiling.
There's no way they host a playoff series.
No chance.
And that's like
the East is too good now.
Unless RJ Barrett
unless RJ Barrett's all this. Yeah, for real.
Which I think you're reaching if you think that. So.
But for $26 million a year, that makes him the 14th highest paid point guard. So it's not like they really overpaid for his skill, maybe a touch, but not too crazy. And $26 million a year in the NBA now is not too unexpendable of a contract. And I think it's a good trade piece, given that after this year or in 2 years, we're talking a 2-year, $26 million a year contract. That's not something teams are really afraid of. So it wasn't the greatest signing. I think he's an average player. But Nova Nation, so we love him. He's a way better NBA player than I thought he was going to be, if I got to be honest.
Facts.
He's really exceeded
Major
expectations.
facts.
He just got $100 million, so that's crazy.
Yeah. I never saw that for him.
But I think it was an average signing. Didn't really overpay too much, but I don't love the player. Think he could be expendable later on.
Agreed.
What do you got, Forbes?
So I was looking at the Blazers, what they're kind of doing, and in a NBA where you seem to have people either going all in or all out in terms of tanking, you don't have many middle of the road teams. And the Blazers look like your classic. They're gonna compete for the play-in tournament this year. They added Nurk, or they re-signed Nurk 70 for 4 years. Anthony Simons 25 a year for the next 4. Gary Payton 3 years 28. I mean, that's like a win.
That's a winning ad,
right? Drew Eubanks they re-signed. They traded for Jeremy Grant, who nice player,
nice
doesn't really do much for you. And then they drafted Shaedon Sharp, who that's definitely like a win now draft pick in my eyes. And no one's getting like the Blazers next year, and so that's I noticed what they were doing, and I wasn't really a fan, I'll be honest.
Kevin Durant prepping though.
Why did they re-sign Nurkic? That was my biggest question mark. I thought they were finally going to let that man go.
What other big option do they have? And 4 for 7
I don't know.
Bad.
True.
Someone that can play a lick of defense would be nice.
I mean, it's like 17 and a half a year.
I'm not complaining about the money. I'm just saying, like, come on. He's terrible at defense. He's hurt all the time. He's always hurt.
True.
Why would they just – and like Forbrook said, this is so, like, they're just okay with being in the middle of the pack. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. They draft a guard when they are planning on re-signing Simons and going after, like, Gary Payton. It's like, is Shaedon Sharp even going to be in the rotation? Like, I don't know what their plans are really, but they do have at least a team that could sneak into playoffs now. So if that's what they're going for, they probably they got it, I guess.
And at some point they are going to trade Dame, right? Probably, and they're probably going to get.
You would think so.
I mean, well, a little precursor to the Rudy trade, but I mean, if they got that for Rudy, I mean, a win now team that just needs a point guard would pay a lot for Dame, who is still top 5 point guard in this league.
Yeah, I mean, try not to get into it too much again, but GMs around the league hate Tim Connolly for that trade that just happened. I can guarantee that, especially Sean Marks. They're not Sean Marks. Other GMs trying to trade for that. Sean Marks is probably the biggest fan of Tim Connolly. Everyone else is like, we hate you.
He's just pointing to the Rudy trade for the next
literally
next year.
Maybe we'll get a meme of Sean Marks on the phone in the Rudy trade to come over this, because that's all he's going to be using as an argument for the next however long.
All right. And I just had some like minor notable signings that I kind of caught my eye. PJ Tucker, $33 million for 3 years with the 76ers. Kind of like a culture setter. I mean, you need a guy. I mean, everyone needs a guy like PJ Tucker on like a playoff team. So, I mean, he's not going to bring your scoring. We all know what PJ Tucker brings, but I just thought that was like a nice signing, and Philly is definitely going to love cheering for that guy.
PJ Tucker brings 4 threes to the yard.
I love PJ Tucker. He's a stud.
Yep. Another one, John Wall, 2 years, 13.2 with the Clippers. Thought that was a really nice, low risk move for the Clippers. They kind of needed a point guard. And if John Wall's good, I mean, who knows? Clippers might be looking really good. And he's got to stay healthy is the thing.
And shit, he better accept a low paying contract after he just got bought out $40 million.
Right.
He doesn't deserve any more money when he's hurt all the time.
Well, and here's the other thing with John Wall is when you go PG, Kawhi, Morris, that's your ideal other 3 players, and then you have Zubac at the dunker spot. That means that's John Wall eating stuff up, you know? That's spread the floor. Everybody can either shoot or catch a lob. And John Wall, I think if we get even 2 years ago Rockets John Wall, like, he was still beating people off the dribble. He was still making smart plays. He was still running the offense well. And it allows Reggie Jackson to become your 6-man scorer and do what he is good at doing, and makes him have to be less of the run the offense point guard and more of the scoring off the bench, which makes them even deeper and scarier. I think the Clippers are a real championship contender this year. That might be a hot take, but
John Wall. It's not a hot take. If they stay healthy, they absolutely are.
I was just looking up John Wall's basketball reference here. Since 2016, 2017 season, so the last 5 seasons, he played 41 games in 27-18, 32 in 2018-19. He was out the entire 19-20 with the Wizards because his Achilles. 40 with the Rockets 2 years ago, and then he didn't play any last year. So he's played 120 games the last 500 games. So.
Yeah. It's obviously not it's obviously risky. But I think too, kind of what we saw with Al Horford could be applicable, where the Thunder basically sat him for like the whole year and just paid him to not play. And then he came back and was like rejuvenated and like ready to go. So maybe that much time of just like chilling and practicing for John Wall could be a good thing towards his production for this year.
Hopefully.
That's what the Clippers are hoping.
And then we'll move on here. Gallinari signed with the Celtics, Spinny Celtics, 2 years, $13 million. I thought that was a kind of a nice signing for them just because they really needed wing depth in the playoffs for having 2 of the best wings in the playoffs. I mean, Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the finals were playing so many minutes, especially in the conference finals too. I mean, they were playing 40+ like almost every game.
They never came out, honestly. 2, I'm going to steal your Gallo signing to talk about another big trade from Boston. We can just go down the Boston route, the Malcolm Brogdon trade. Aaron Nesmith and a first-round pick. Was there one more thing? Daniel Tice.
Yeah.
Tice, Nesmith, and a first-round pick for Malcolm Brogdon. Bus, we were talking about this trade right away when it happened, and I definitely even underestimated Brogdon's scoring ability for what it was. This man averaged over 20
a night
years ago. And then he's basically a 25-4 guy, essentially, or 18-5-4. So that's an absolutely huge signing. It gives you the ability when Smart is doing his weirdness and not being able to effectively bring the ball up the court and win the offense. It gives you a guy to put in there that can slow it down and really play the true point guard spot, but also can shoot at the same time. It's literally what they needed in the playoffs that Brogdon brings. And just another guy that can shoot and score. And then you got Gallo, another guy who can shoot and score on top of bringing everybody back. 2 huge low-key pickups that they needed.
Yeah.
Brogdon just like John Wall, I was just going to say, hopefully he stays healthy. That's the one like red flag on him, as his medicals. Almost every team across the league thinks his medical the worst. So
yeah.
He can stay healthy, though. I mean, the Celtics, they'll be looking.
Well, getting Brogdon is allowing them now to have a very good small ball and big lineup now, too, because you can go Brogdon, Smart, Brown, Tatum, Williams as a small ball lineup. That's amazing. You got 4 very good attackers and shooters, plus big man Rob Will. Or you go big and, as we saw last year, and you play Horford with him. And then maybe you either have Brogdon off the bench and have it Smart, Brown, Tatum, or you have Smart off the bench and have Brogdon, Brown, Tatum. So they're looking pretty good. And then Gallo off the bench as well, just another knockdown sniper. They might be the favorite. Low key, them are the Bucks and out of the East, I think.
Bucks are the favorite, but I think that closed the gap.
Yes.
My last one I had was a Bucks signing. Bobby Portis, 4 years, 49. I mean, same thing you can say about PJ Tucker, about Bobby Portis. I mean, dude's just a culture setter. And Bucks fans, you talk to any Bucks fans, it's Giannis number 1 in terms of likability, and it's Bobby Portis number 2, for sure.
Agreed.
Absolutely. They love him in Milwaukee. What's their announcement?
I hate Bobby Portis. I hate Bobby Portis so hard.
Crazy ass.
Why do you hate Bobby Portis?
Because he just irritates me. So irritating.
Oh.
So.
He's awesome. He does all the dirty work. His energy is amazing. What's there not to love?
He plays in the Bucks.
Nice. So, all right, that's fair. That is a fair point.
And then I got just 2 Minnesota signings, just quick. Amir Coffey, 3 years, $11 million. Gophers don't get too many second contracts, but I was happy to see that Amir Coffey's getting.
We signed Amir Coffey?
No. Just Minnesota player.
Okay, yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And then Tyus Jones signed 2 years, 30 with the he re-signed with the Grizzlies. So, yeah.
You.
I hate seeing him in Memphis colors, but
15 a year though. Shout out
He's worth it too.
This man be just hitting shots against the Wolves too. Apparently, only against the Wolves, just nailing them.
Well, we should expect that Minnesota sports logic. So you trade a player, they become 10 times better.
And he played in Target Center so much, in high school that he got used to the rims. So he just knew.
Did he not play a senior? They didn't make the state tournament a senior year, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, they got upset. They got
by
upset
JP in Lakeville North.
Yeah.
In the section.
No, they got upset by Creighton Durham Hall that year.
Creighton.
Oh, that's right.
Creighton, yep.
All right, Bus. What other signings you got for us? I know you got a few.
Well, I got another huge trade. We haven't talked about. DeJounte Murray traded to the Hawks for Gallinari, who was obviously bought out, signed with Celtics now. 2023 first, New York's pick, actually. And that is a protected pick. 2025 first, 2026 pick swap, and 2027 first. All of those are unprotected, obviously. So, I mean, that was a good move for the Hawks. I mean, I'm kind of interested in seeing how they mesh together, Trey and DeJounte, but I think it can work. I don't see why not. You just have Trey a little more off ball now with how good of a playmaker and driver that DeJounte is. But this gives them, that's potentially the best backcourt in the NBA. I can't, off the top of the head, which two guards would be better?
I would take Steph Curry and Klay Thompson just because of Steph.
I'm not taking that though because Klay's not there anymore.
Yeah, but
backcourt, it's two of them, not just one.
Yeah, but I think Steph is enough above the other two that it makes up for Klay being the fourth best player in that foursome right there. But
I don't know. I think Trey's top 15 player. DeJounte's flirting top 20.
It is a damn good back.
It is exceedingly good.
I don't know. The fit to me is, we'll see. I guess for me, I'm just not a Trae Young fan. So I feel like you either got to be on the Trae Young one side or the other. So I don't know. The fit, it could be good, but
I think it takes out one of my second biggest Trae Young pet peeve, and that's his atrocious late game playmaking and decision making. Sometimes I think it allows Murray to be the main ball handler and playmaker, and you can start having Trae kind of. The ideal situation to me is having Trae do a lot of what Steph does and coming off a million screens and running around and doing crap like that. And if you got Trae Young doing that, I'm happy and loving my life. And then you have Murray as the main point guard off of that. But obviously, Young can't play any defense either. So that's the biggest thing with him. And Murray is not an awesome defender. He's had some promise. But I think Murray really needs to step up on the defensive end if they have the best chance for it to be a great backcourt.
Agree. Completely agree. The one thing I did like about this deal, though, was that they didn't have to dump John Collins in it or anything like that. So they dumped a irrelevant vet that they didn't really need and then some first to give them an actual better shot at competing in the East. So it makes sense for the Hawks. And, yeah, like you guys said, we'll just see how that fit ends up working. Spinny, do you have any more? Otherwise, I'm going to throw out some unsigned players still.
I'll throw it out.
Okay, the main three that are on the board, and the one we'll get into a little later because obviously his situation is different. But Deandre Ayton and Colin Sexton would be the two biggest names left, both restricted free agents. What do you guys think about their market? From what I've heard, the market's pretty slim on Sexton, which to me is pretty surprising for a young scoring guard.
Yeah, I was a little surprised about that myself. I mean, this man averaged, 24 a game? 23 and a half? Somewhere in there. Mid-20s per game. So, I mean, that's not something you can find everywhere. And he's not old. What is he, 23? 23 years old? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I know he has some defensive liabilities and some, interesting injury history. But, man, it just seems like there's too many teams in the league that always need a backup scoring guard. And I don't know. This could be maybe a low-key situation if the Lakers don't end up getting Kyrie, that maybe if there isn't any market for Sexton, you could sneak in something like that.
He's restricted though.
He's restricted.
Yep. Yeah. So okay. Cleveland. That's the thing. I feel like more of these teams should just like give Sexton just like a BS offer. That's like it's not like great, like where they'll just say, nah, you take him, but they should at least like make him like pay him and bump up the salary cap. But
yeah, right, because they're just extending their qualifying offer of what it's just under $8 million. I saw, so yeah, I'm pretty sure Sexton's worth more than $8 million.
Yeah, Cleveland will match whatever anybody gives them an offer to, I'm sure.
But just throw Sexton like the 4 years for 60 type situation,
or even like 80. Like,
yeah,
I feel like Cleveland would still be like, oh, we got to keep the asset.
I know.
Yeah, and it's not that much money. Where
that's what I mean.
Okay, now someone like I'm just throwing this random team out because I haven't looked into too many Sexton rumors about who's interested in him, but maybe like a team like the Mavs who just lost one of their other playmaking scorers in Brunson, would they be attracted to a Sexton?
But if you're they're too similar, I guess, to me. Like if you're not gonna pay Brunson, why are you gonna pay Sexton? I think the whole point for the Mavs of not playing Brunson was the flexibility to find a better star for Luka. One of the big things teams love to do when they have like a generational star like that is just instantly first day they can get paying money just to make sure that the star has somebody next to him and wants to stay. But then you overpay somebody and you lock your team into what it is for so long, and then they can never be good. I think the Mavs want to keep that flexibility to hopefully, like when Dame or a player of that level comes available, that's the type of move they're trying to make.
Another point about the Mavs there, though, too. Now looking it up, Tim Hardaway, his contract is pretty big, too. So that might have played into it. His 4-year, $75 million contract. So, yeah, that's a little hefty for Tim Hardaway, in my opinion. But so, Sexton, we covered him. Ayton. Do you guys see a fit out there for Deandre Ayton? Besides a sign and trade, I'm assuming that's how that's going to end up turning out, right? Sign and trade. Phoenix made it clear they don't want him.
I think KD trade has to happen before we really figure out Ayton, because the Suns are going to try to keep Ayton if they think they have any chance of getting KD. So,
but I think the Nets have shown that I think Mark said something like he doesn't want Ayton. I'm pretty sure that Ayton, like, it was trade rumors galore for Ayton from like right after they got like bounced. And I mean, the last month I haven't heard a single like team that's like interested in.
I know Pistons were a talk, but then they drafted
Durant.
But I mean that could still be a trade piece to move for Ayton. I know that's been a talk, and obviously that could be a player they could use. But I think GMs are getting smarter and paying a center that doesn't have a ton of offensive production. The money that he wants is not ideal.
Interesting.
Speaking of I think I agree, low-key, but
just you wait on that. You're getting a little jumpy. Forbrook is getting a little jumpy over here.
We're about to jump to that, Forbrook, but one last guy I want to throw out before we jump to the Wolves offseason moves is Miles Bridges, charged with felony domestic violence. Is this man, I mean, he clearly got his contract pulled from the Hornets. Is he going to play in the NBA again? I'm not very convinced that he will, to be honest.
There's a chance in like 2 years he gets like the vet min to like get a chance to come back. I think that's the point we're at right now with him.
It does seem like these athletes that he's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
In terms of basketball skill. It does seem like anybody that has some talent does get a second chance, even if they shouldn't, you know? But
like one of those big market teams that is competing for a championship is going to give him the vet min in like 2-3 years to see if he's got anything.
Low cost, right? Yeah. If he's allowed back.
If he's allowed back, yeah. But
right.
It's not looking good.
Yeah, pretty nasty picture his wife posted of her injuries that she sustained from him. So,
and if
that wasn't good for him,
which it most likely obviously is. I mean, I believe that it is, but I'm saying that if that is proven true, then I mean, he obviously shouldn't play in the NBA again anyway.
Right, I agree, completely agree. Well, that's about it, I think, for our general NBA offseason recap. There's still a lot to go here for sure in this offseason. Let's jump to the Wolves now.
Did we talk? Do you have any before we jump to the Wolves? I got a question for you.
Shout it out.
Gun to your head. This is all of us. Gun to our heads. KD, where's he going?
That's fair. We got to make the prediction.
Staying.
No, they're not running it. No,
they're gonna run it back.
You said gun to my head. I'm not picking another team. What do you?
All right.
It's tough because now the report came out today that they're looking for more multi-team trades because they truly want to get the most insane deal possible. Yeah. So, wow. Gun to my head. God, I like Forbrook's take. I don't want to copy him. I'm going to say the Pelicans. He will be a New Orleans Pelican. Kevin Durant.
They don't have it. I'll just look up Kevin.
You can't steal my pick, Bus.
What'd you say?
Fine, you can take them.
He took the Pelicans.
Okay, latest odds. You can't look.
Why?
Well, because you gun to your head. I guess. Okay, it says Suns, Raptors, Nets, Heat.
I was going to say Raptors, actually, honestly. That was going to be my next choice, but yeah, I'll say Raptors. Why not?
Why are the Raptors moving up the betting boards? Oh, no.
I love how I said why not when I said gun to my head. That's nice. Yeah, what? The viewers love that. We probably love the self-deprecating jokes here today.
I'll say the Suns, just if I have to pick a team outside the Nets.
Okay. Suns,
Pelicans, Raptors. We'll find out.
Interested to see. Is Kyrie Irving going to go to the Lakers?
No. Lakers don't have anything that they can trade.
I think it's at the point.
Russell Westbrook.
The owner said.
Exactly.
The owner said, I would rather get rid of KD than go through what we did last year. I think that means having Kyrie on the roster. I think they end up. The Lakers give up their 2077 first, and they trade Kyrie for Russ and that 2027 first. I think that's what happens.
I like it. That's what I think too. All right, let's jump to the Wolves now.
The Wolves.
I'm going to shoot off a bunch of different things.
We're not burying the lead. We've been burying this lead
All right,
77 segments.
Let's just get on it.
Right?
Rudy Gobert. Now. Rudy freaking Gobert is the Timberwolf now. He was traded for Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverley, Vanderbilt, Walker Kessler, our first-round pick this year, and Leandro Bolmaro. Also, this is the bad part of the trade. Also, we gave up a 2023 first, a 2025 first, a 2026 pick swap, a 2027 first, and a 2029 protected first. 5 first-round picks with one of them being protected and 5 players. So essentially 10 players for Rudy Gobert. All right, Forbrook, I'm going to let you shine here first, man. I know you've been waiting to get these thoughts off your head.
I mean, I don't even know where to start now. I'll say this to start. The Wolves are going to be a better team next year because of this trade. And probably the next 4 years. They'll probably be a way better team. But I don't think I really don't think it makes us as good as people think it makes us. And I think if you're making a trade where you give up as many assets as we did, especially in a league where we don't know where guys are going, we could be just as bad as we have been the last 2 decades, in 3-4 years. I don't think we will, by the way. But I think you have to, if you're making a move like that, it has to guarantee you that you're at least one of the contenders in your conference. And I'll be honest, I don't think it does. This year, anyway. Maybe the next couple of years, if we have some guys take the next step, like Ant and Cat. Cat, I kind of think we know what he is, but I'll let you guys chime in.
I think Ant has to be a top 10 player in the league in the next.
And there it is.
In the next 3 years for this trade to make any sense. If Ant does not get to that point in the next 3 years, this trade makes no sense. And either way, we lost it and we overpaid. 5 firsts plus Walker Kessler, essentially 6 firsts for Rudy Gobert is absolutely ridiculous for a player that obviously gets worse in the playoffs. And while I don't think his defensive liabilities will show as much in Minnesota because of the garbage wing defense that Utah had, I think even the Wolves' average wing defense is much better than Utah, and will make him lose that less. And I also love what it does for Cat offensively and where his mindset goes. But again, if Ant's not a top 10 player, we're not a serious finals contender, and then the trade was worth nothing, essentially. I would have rather saved those assets to go for a player who actually makes us an instant finals contender.
Good thoughts.
I think the
playoffs. I need to start mine. Go ahead,
You go. I just think the playoffs are going to look a lot different than the regular season, so it's going to be tough to judge right away, I'll be honest. Okay. And I don't think I'm going to admit right away if we're the second seed in the West through the All-Star break. I'm going to be like, my take is wrong, because we need to see this in the playoffs.
We need to see like a Western Conference Finals appearance or something like that before I'm like, okay, this made more sense.
Agree. I just want to start my thoughts off with, I still absolutely hate Rudy Gobert. That will never change unless he wins us a ring. I hate this man, and I always hate him. So, with that being said, I'm actually more okay with it than you would think, given that I just said that. Like you said, that is Spinny said. That's an amazing point that needs to be reiterated. This trade was done with the idea that Ant will be a superstar. He will be a top 10 player in the league at some point in these next 4 years. That's why the trade was done. And another thing why I thought this trade was done, we lost Beasley and Pat Bev, who last year were two of our better perimeter defenders. This is in hopes that McDaniels takes another step forward, which I have faith he will. So those are the two things that this trade is reliant on. That's why I'm assuming our GM, A-Rod, our new ownership, and Mark Lawler, that's the direction they wanted to take, because they wanted to give McDaniels and Ant the ball more and let them progress even more. So those are my first initial thoughts. But yeah, I guess I can't really add on much more than from what you guys said. I agree that this is we have to see what happens here next year, and especially in the playoffs, like you said, because regular season doesn't matter. We saw the Jazz go 1 seed or 2 seed all the time and then choke and lose right away. So we need to see what happens in the playoffs. We need to see if Ant can take that next step and McDaniels take that next step. And if neither of those two do, then we're screwed and we just trade our whole future for bum-ass Rudy Gobert. So that's tough. That's really tough. But I do like adding the one position we needed the most, which is another big man who can play defense around the rim. That's the number one need that the Wolves had going into this offseason.
Yeah, maybe not position we needed the most necessarily, because ideally we'd have Cat playing that position, but I think it's more of weakness as a team we needed the most. The Wolves had one of the worst around the rim defenses in the league, and Rudy obviously changes that aspect of, if he does one thing well, that's what it is.
I'll push back on the Anthony Edwards development a little bit. We are going to go into his, I think it was just looking at the odds. He's the most improved odds on favorite right now, 12-1. There's lots of options. But we're looking at a guy that's going to be turning 21 next year. Third season. And if we expect him to be like a top 10 or even top 15 player next year at this point, I think we're looking at like a Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan like level type player. And I do not see that with Ant. I think he gets to that top 10 to 12. The league's so talented now that it's tough to put guys in that bucket. More probably in like his mid to late 20s, like we see most of our superstars develop. And that's kind of also why Rudy, it's got a 4-year deal and we're going to be paying him like 50-something million at the end of it. And that's when we're going to be expecting to be like, that's when we're going to be peaking, in my opinion, with Cat and Ant. And we're probably going to be looking at Rudy's like towards his downturn. We haven't seen this many all-star centers go play into their mid to late 30s, except for the greats like Shaq, Hakeem.
True. And I think the one thing is it does give us flexibility at that point, because that'll be after Ant's 25-year-old season, which 26, 27, 28, that's like your prime, right? So I think it does give us flexibility at that point. But I do agree with that point. But I think you think in 3 years would be Ant's what? Sixth
be 24.
Season? Be 24.
That's still young.
Yeah, I mean that's the season Tatum was just in, right? So
yeah, I think Tatum's a special player.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Can Ant be that good?
He could. He really could. But
I think
by 24. This is my bold take here. You brought it up, so I have to say it. Ant's age 24 season will be better than Jason Tatum's age 24 season. Ant will be a first team All NBA player at age 24. No doubt in my mind. I'm so confident.
First team All NBA 24.
That's what I'm saying. He will at least get that at age 24. I'm that confident in Ant.
I got one more point. Danny Ainge, Spinny's boy. He was on the other side of this deal, and he's been on the other side of another massive deal back when he traded.
I knew you were going to bring this up.
When he traded KG and Paul Pierce to the Nets, and he got a haul back that turned into Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And what's going on right now? I don't think. See, those guys were at the end of their prime. Rudy's still an impactful player.
Both those guys were 37.
And people didn't know what picks were valued at that point, I think, as much as we do now.
Yeah.
But you're looking back, that's a terrible trade. And Danny Ainge, he has a chance to make it look really good again.
Yeah. I mean, Ainge is great at the team building aspects and the trading and the going from like an existing group to a new young group. Really good at that. I think he's just not as good as going from that group to like a championship group because he's too scared to give up picks. I think it's hard to do both effectively, and I think that's what Ainge's struggle has been. But as far as taking an older team and rebuilding it into a new, younger team, that's definitely something he's good at.
Also, one more thing. The NBA trade thing where you have to match contracts is absolutely ridiculous. We had to give up 10 assets for one, and we didn't get a single other win-now asset. We had to give up Patrick Beverley and Malik and all these win-now assets. That's like, does Utah even want these guys?
No, they don't.
Right. They have to match it. Why does it have to be – why can't it be like 75% match contract?
Yeah.
It should be a percentage like that.
Especially with the max guys now.
Yeah.
It's like you either have max or you have like
nothing.
$6 million guys.
Yes.
It's like you got to put like 10 guys together to get.
I mean, we have how many guys? We started off our NBA segment by mentioning all of them. We have how many guys making like $50 freaking million a year starting next year? Like, insane.
I just think that trade thing needs to be amended a little bit.
Yeah, we gotta, because I don't know. Don't you? If you're gonna have such a player movement league, still try to make it like, I don't know. It's crazy to me. NBA GMing is tough for that reason.
And that's what those $20 to $25 million contracts, they serve a purpose because you need those guys to match on trade offers. So you don't have to give up your big dogs.
Literally.
All right.
Before we jump into that next thing, this just got reported, so I just kind of want to get your opinions on it quick, okay? Chris Haynes reporting, Kevin Durant has gone dark. Oh man, you're not going to load for me now. Multiple NBA stars around the league have reached out to KD, but he hasn't responded to a single one.
That sounds like typical Kevin Durant behavior.
That's instant reaction. Boss, instant reaction.
I just find that funny. If that's actually true, he's not responding to all these other people, but he's tweeting Chet Holmgren earlier today.
Tweeted 4 hours ago. Point guy.
Yeah, I know, but 8 hours ago he tweeted at directly Chet Holmgren, like who is now an NBA player. So that wouldn't surprise me though. I agree with Forbrook. That's just Kevin Durant. That doesn't surprise me at all, honestly.
Oh, that's funny. All right, list them off, Bussy.
Just quickly, if you guys have any issues with them, just shout it out. Otherwise, we'll just say it and then jump to trivia. But we re-signed Taurean Prince 2 years, $16 million. Signed Kyle Anderson 2 years, $18. Bryn Forbes. I like the Anderson sign. Forbes 1 year. That was just obviously to fill a shooting need there. 1 year, $2.5 million. And
that's why players like Beasley and Beverly, like Forbrook just said, like those guys would have fit perfectly in those roles.
Right.
That's Adam Silver's next mission.
And then we accepted our team options on Nas and Noel, which I liked too. So especially Noel, I think he's going to have to take another step forward with Beasley gone. So
and he could,
yeah, and he could. It'll be interesting. Sample. Or Wendell Moore, maybe Wendell Moore sides in instead.
I doubt it, but maybe.
All right, now it's time to get our other guest on here.
Bring him in.
Hello, everybody.
How are we?
Our UFC expert has joined us.
I wouldn't say expert, but I think Forbes is more of an expert. I don't know.
I think we're about at the same caliber. If not, I don't know. You've been watching way longer than I have.
Yeah, probably.
All right. We might as well. We just gotta jump into it. 4 of us here, huh?
Yeah. We got 4-person trivia like we said today. So, how do we want to do this? Who wants to go first?
Should we? Spinny, do you want to do one person does all 3 questions, or are we gonna just do all do easy, all medium?
All easy, all do medium, all do hard.
Okay.
Can't change it up.
I like it. Making sure.
I'll start.
All right, start it off.
I'll start. Then we'll go together, separate. You know what I mean?
Wait, how are we answering?
Brett, Bus, Forbes.
How are we going to answer all at the same time?
If you know the answer, just keep it in your head, and then.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Once we're ready, we'll say it.
Okay. That's not going to be good for me.
Easy question.
Hopefully I can get one right this week, unlike last week.
What NASCAR driver's nickname was the Intimidator? Come on.
There's a reason. Like I watch NASCAR.
But come on.
I got an answer. I have a couple answers.
I got an answer.
I'm ready.
Count us down.
I'm gonna say Dale Earnhardt.
That was my guess.
Yeah, that's my guess too.
Senior.
Dale Senior.
We
just
did
so
it.
Spinny.
Let's go.
I wrote Richard. I was gonna guess Richard Petty.
Oh, that's a good one.
I was like, it's too easy.
Probably the most famous NASCAR driver ever, right? So I feel like.
So we all got one.
Yep.
All right, I'll start with my easy question. Who is the UFC? I'll give you you can do male or female. UFC pound for pound number 1 right now in the UFC rankings.
I got my answer.
Me too.
Oh, I literally looked at these yesterday.
All right, Bus, you got to go first.
Yeah.
Or I'll just count you down.
You can count me down whenever.
Just everyone.
Obviously
3, 2, 1.
Come on,
Usman.
Yep.
I did guess right.
Everyone got it. And then Shevchenko is the second one. So
yeah.
Everyone's got one. Everyone's got 2.
Yeah, I just figured Usman because he was freaking humongous.
We both have 1.
Yeah. Me and Forbes have 1. Bus and Brett have 2.
All right, I'll go. Okay. Who was the first fighter in the UFC to hold multiple titles in different divisions at the same time?
I got one.
I have a guess. I don't know if this is right, though. But this is the only one I know of, so.
Multiple titles.
Is it old, Brett?
Multiple titles in different divisions at the same time. Who was the first one to do it?
All right.
I'm gonna feel so dumb when I get this wrong.
Yeah, Bus got to go first again.
All right, Bus. I'm gonna ask you first. You gotta give me your answer.
All right.
I'm not gonna say if it's right or wrong.
Because it's definitely not even that long ago. I can picture it in my head. What are you guys passing notes over there for?
We both wrote it down so we can show it at the same time.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
We did. We'll show you.
I I think I'm just gonna accept the L here.
We gotta guess.
You don't have a guess?
You don't
have a single guess?
Any champion I can think of, I'm not sure if they've won a different belt at the same time. Conor McGregor. Final answer.
No.
Let's see your guys' too.
That's mine. I guess McGregor.
Okay, Spinny, what do you got?
John Jones.
Why he didn't
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, it's
Conor McGregor.
John Jones just dominated the light heavyweight. I couldn't remember.
Wait, I was right?
Yes.
Yeah, you were right.
I can remember if DC won it before. I had Conor.
Haha, Spinny. You suck.
Damn, Spinny.
Spinny sucks. All right. Last easy question. Here we go. As I mentioned earlier this episode, Nikola Jokic is now the biggest contract in NBA history. Who had the biggest contract in NBA history before him? Before he signed this deal?
I know it.
I think I know.
I got to guess.
All right. Let's hear it.
I'm going to say it's Giannis.
Okay.
I said Curry. Curry.
Correct. Yep. Steph Curry.
40 and a half per year.
$48 million. Yep.
That's a good guess, though, Brett, for not knowing basketball. Or you know a little bit NBA.
I mean, I know basketball. I just don't like.
That's a good guess.
That's a weird question. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. For an easy one. Bus is just
heading into the medium round. Me and Forbrook have 3, and both of you have 2 points. Tight race. Here we go. Spinny, medium question.
Medium question. What baseball player's nickname was Charlie Hustle? Bus, your dad will roast you if you don't know this.
Did I get it right?
Forbrook did get it right.
Let's go.
Charlie Hustle?
Yep.
I'm trying to think of anybody named.
My dad loves this.
Trying to think of anybody named Charlie.
Sam.
I feel like it's going to be obvious once you say it.
You ripped a lot of singles. A lot of singles ripped.
A lot of singles ripped, huh?
Yeah.
Can you say the nickname one more time, please?
Charlie Hustle.
Charlie Hustle. Yeah, you're right. My dad's going to kill me.
I'll give you the classic too. It's not in our lifetime.
Charlie Hustle.
I'm gonna say Pete Rose.
God dang it! I thought I was gonna use that as my guess. I'm gonna go. Man, who ripped a ton of singles? Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken.
Was it Pete Rose?
Oh yeah, it was Pete Rose.
Let's go! Oh my goodness! I totally.
Right, you should have let me guess first.
I'm sorry.
All right, that's fair.
Did not think that was right.
Oh, me? All right.
God,
we'll see if you guys even. Who won the women's hot dog eating contest this weekend?
This is the medium question.
No idea.
Is this medium?
No idea. Count me out on that one.
0% chance of getting that.
Do you know who won the men's?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have a guess. I don't know.
Is that too hard?
I don't think.
All right. Well, I'll ask my other one. Who's leading the MLB in batting average?
Oh, I know.
No idea. 0 clue.
Okay, before we answer this, we gotta figure out how this question is gonna work.
It's as of today. Who is leading the MLB? I'm assuming that's what.
Are we just throwing out the first question then?
Yeah, throw out my first question. That was too hard.
Okay.
I thought you guys maybe would. Yeah, throw that out.
All right.
Okay. I might be bold with my guess here. Brett, do you know? You got to go first, because.
Juan Soto.
Oof. Tell you that's not right.
Okay, I don't know. I have not watched a single game or kept up with any baseball.
All right, 3, 2, 1, Bus.
Paul Goldschmidt.
Luis Arraez.
Really?
He still is, huh?
He is.
Goldie passed him, honestly.
Wow.
So Spinny gets my medium.
Let's go.
My alternate medium.
All right, me?
Yep.
All right. Who holds the record for most fights and most wins in UFC history?
Oh, what's his flipping name? Oh, what's his name?
Did he fight in UFC 276? Can you give these guys a hint, Brett?
Yeah, he did fight. He did fight this past.
Oh, what's his name?
Most fights and most wins he holds the record for in the UFC.
He actually beat the guy who is second in most. I don't think they're gonna know. On the main card.
It wasn't the main card.
Or not the main card. Prelims.
Prelims.
Oh yeah, Alvarez was on the main card. I was thinking that was the. I wish I could just show Brett my answer.
I already know you know.
I feel like I know. Did you just say he fought the second?
Yep.
Did one of you guys give that hint?
This man retired.
Yes.
I gave it to you.
Yes.
I don't know. God, I don't know that dude's name, but I think I know the second place guy.
I don't know his name.
Give me the second place guy, boss.
I can't even think of his first name right now. Cerrone?
Cowboy? Donald Cerrone.
Yep.
Donald Cerrone.
He lost.
That's not the right answer, though, right?
He lost to Jim Miller.
Oh, Jim Miller.
No, forgot that.
God, Forbrook is just killing us again.
Yeah.
We need to stop letting this man come on trivia and just destroy us.
I even gave you my Luisa Rise. That was going to be my first easy question. I did.
Well, that's why I thought it was medium. That's why you switched it to medium, because I thought it switched to Goldschmidt.
No.
All right, boss.
Because Goldie did get it up to over 340 now, so be on lookout for him. All right. You don't have to get both of these, but DeJounte Murray was drafted in what year and what pick? You get a point per.
Oh. If I get both, do I get an extra point?
No, if you get both, you get your 2 points. That's it.
I know the answer.
Who again?
DeJounte Murray was drafted in what year?
At Kentucky?
No. DeJounte Murray
for the Spurs,
didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he got
what year was he drafted? What year? What pick? So let's get all of your years first. You guys ready?
I don't know.
I don't know what year. I got it between two.
Yeah.
All right, Brett. You say it first, son.
2016.
I'm going to say 2017.
2016.
1 point for Brett and Spinny. He was drafted in 2016. And what pick?
I know that too, actually.
I said 11.
I'm saying 6.
29.
Spinny, how the hell did you know that, honestly? Pick 29.
Because it was in the article about the trade, and I just remembered the number.
Oh my God. How did you know that?
All right. Heading into the final round, our score. Forbrook 7, Spinny 6, Brett 5, me 4. I'm in last again.
Let's go, bud. Who's in second?
Me. 1 point behind you.
3-pointers this round. Here we go. Spinny, lead us off.
What athlete was nicknamed the 8th wonder of the world?
I actually know this.
No, you don't. Stop it. I knew you'd be the one to know it too. Dang it.
I'm not even kidding. I know this.
I think I know this too. I think I know this too.
This is so random, but I knew Connor would be the one to know it.
I 100% know what sport it is.
I think it's
Or maybe
that.
I don't.
Is it? That's my final answer.
I think I have a guess.
Boss, you're going first then, Brett.
Muhammad Ali, final answer.
Brett?
That's what I was going to guess, too.
What'd you put, Forbrook?
I said Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant.
Ah.
Andre the Giant.
Oh, dang it.
So you guys are over there making your trivia questions together. I see how it is.
No, but I knew Connor was the wrestling guy that would get the wrestling question.
And Charlie Hustle, come on.
So why would you put it as a hard question then if you knew Connor was going to get it right?
Well, I didn't think anyone was going to get it right, but
you set yourself up for defeat.
All right. Maybe if you guys can get my other hot dog eating contest question, you can get this point too. But who was the last guy to beat Joey Chestnut?
I think
the women's champion this year.
I think I know.
Well,
I have a guess, but I don't think this was the last one.
This is a hard question.
Right. I know this guy beat Joey Chestnut. I don't know if he was the last.
I have a guess.
We probably have the same guess then, Spinny.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Kobayashi.
Brett is right. Matt Stoney.
Let's go. Matt Stoney, baby.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Wow. Kobayashi beat Chestnut.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, no. Chestnut beat Kobayashi. He was like
Kobayashi beat Chestnut first, though.
Right. He was like the first like big time.
Yeah.
So Joey Jaws.
This is looking like a fat L for Bus over here.
I mean, I don't think you can come back.
What are the scores at now?
That's why I said it's fat L.
Forbrook has
2 questions remaining. Forbrook has 10. Brett has 8. I have 4. Spinny has 6.
My points.
Okay. I don't know if any of you guys are gonna get this. Maybe Forbes, but
you guys are all just benefiting Forbes today.
Who was the first UFC heavyweight champion ever?
No answer. Final answer is mine. That's my final answer. So it's tough.
So early UFC there was only one division. There was superweight. There was
superweight and there was another division right below that, and they combined those two to make the heavyweight championship.
I've definitely looked it up, or I've definitely looked on those heavyweight lists before. Because the heavyweight list is funny because it's just like a bunch of dudes that lost like every other fight.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say like Ken Shamrock.
That was actually my guess. Was Ken Shamrock.
Boss, you got an answer?
No, I already said no answer is my final answer. So
you guys are all wrong.
Yeah.
Mark Coleman.
I
actually heard of that. Man.
Yeah, he's a legend in the heavyweight division, to be honest.
So it's down to Brett or Forbrook.
Yeah, it is, huh? Okay. This is how my hard question's going to go here.
He's got 8, you got 10, I got 6.
Oh, the hard points. The hard ones are worth how much?
3.
Oh.
3. But there's 3 separate questions for mine. 1 each. So you can score. You don't have to get all of them. Here you go. You have to name. I'm going to give you a player and the year. You have to tell me who went 1 pick behind them.
Okay.
1 pick behind them. In 2014, this one should be easy. This one should be easy. Maybe not for Brett, but you two, I would be disappointed if you don't know this. In 2014, Glenn Robinson III went 1 pick before who?
This one doesn't even count.
No answer.
This is the one I'm thinking of. Is this in the second round?
I don't know. Is it?
Is it in the second round or not?
There's no hints. No hints for this question. For any of the questions. No hints.
Okay.
2014, Glenn Robinson.
I think I know. And if I know, I'm going to be ticked because this is a BS question.
I'm going to say Joker.
It is Joker.
It is Jokic. Yes.
Okay. That was my guess, but I just said I didn't mean the actual Joker.
Okay. Spinning gets 1 point. Barber gets 1.
Brett got 1 too.
It's getting harder.
I heard Brett say Joker.
Yeah, I got nothing.
2011. Corey Joseph was 1 pick before who? in 2011?
I might know this, yeah.
John Wall.
My guess is Kawhi.
Kyle Lowry?
What did you say, Brett? Sorry.
John Wall.
All incorrect. Corey Joseph was picked one pick before Jimmy Butler in 2011. The last one and the hardest one. 2006.
This is worth 5 points.
No, it's still 1 point.
No, 5.
It's worth
2006.
The Nets. They not only picked one UConn player, they picked two before this guy. They picked Marcus Williams and Josh Boone. They had back-to-back picks, the Nets, and they picked UConn teammates Marcus Williams and Josh Boone. Who was the pick right after them?
In 2006?
2006.
Is this player still in the league?
Yep. Every player I picked for this question is in the league. Still relevant. So this guy would be, I guess you guys can do math, but 16th, 17th year in the league now, so.
Oh, yeah.
I think the only guy I can think of, went number 1, so.
I'm going to say Kevin Love.
I love the guess.
2006?
Is he that old? Or no? No.
I'm going to say, I'm just going to go off the board for 200. I'm going to go, I don't want Spinny to copy me, though, to be honest.
So then wait.
All right, I'm going Rajon Rondo.
Okay.
What's random?
The most randomest guy.
That's random.
But he's old.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dang it.
Five seconds, Spinny. Yes.
DeAndre Jordan. That's not right.
None of you guys are right. I am a little.
Dwight Howard was my guess, but he went number 1, right?
Rondo got
I'm a little disappointed in Spinny here because this is one of his boys who he had already guessed for the
This
second
is Kyle
question.
Lowry?
Kyle Lowry. Drafted in 2006 behind two UConn teammates that didn't do jack shit in the NBA. So that's tough.
Rondo was picked the before those two guys.
Yeah, he was.
I should get a half a point.
You were close. No, you don't get any more
before.
points. You already won. Screw you, Forbrook.
Back to back.
11 points. That is a record, but obviously it's
points?
a little skewed because it's the first time we've had 4 people, so it's a little skewed. All right, boys. Let's end trivia and jump to our next
final
segment.
score, boss, so we can let the boys know how bad we lost.
How bad I lost?
I lost bad too.
I got clapped in this game. Forbrook had 11 points. Brett had 8 points. Spinny had 7 points, and I had 4 points.
Let's go, Brett.
Get dubbed, Spinny. Get dubbed.
Fetty didn't even get a bronze medal.
Forbes, we should make our own podcast.
Well, it's tough when Spinny's out here just giving questions to Forbrook, and then Brett's asking UFC, which only Forbrook knows, so it's tough.
It was a recipe for a Forbrook win.
Yes, it was.
That it was. And speaking of UFC, let's now talk about UFC 276. Brett, Forbrook, you guys are the bigger watchers out of us. You guys got any thoughts about prelims before we jump into the main card? I didn't watch any prelims, so I don't know.
Well, that Jim Miller fight was on. That was, I don't know. That honestly wasn't that good of a fight, him and Cerrone. The one fight that I really liked in the prelims is that Ian Gary guy coming up. His first fight on the UFC really caught my eye, and so I really wanted to watch him, and he impressed as well. So he's undefeated. He's He's from Ireland. So
I was going to say Conor McGregor shouted him out on Twitter.
Yeah, and they got those. He shouted him out the first time too, and they got those Irish fans. If we can get Ian Gary with an undefeated streak, I think Dana will definitely capitalize on that rise again. But yeah, he's a young kid. He's got a nice young face, but he can really fight. I think he's 10-0 now, so it's 2-0 in the UFC now.
Damn, I need to check him out for sure. First main card fight though that we're gonna discuss, even though we probably won't discuss it too much, would be the Sean O'Malley versus Pedro. Someone help me out with his last name.
Munoz.
Munoz?
Yeah.
Munoz?
I think so.
Obviously, this was ruled a no contest due to the accidental finger poke in the second round. I'm seeing a lot of rumors that these guys are just going to square off again. Do you guys think that?
I don't think so. I think Sean looked way better when for much as the fight actually happened. I think Sean was just getting into his groove, and I think Sean goes on to bigger and better things already. Just based off how he looked in the fight.
I think he actually was. He was losing the first. He lost the first round, I think, on the scorecards, but I think he was definitely winning the second round at the time. So, and he's been kind of clowning Munoz on Instagram and stuff. He keeps on sharing these. He keeps on sharing these like YouTube videos of these like guys saying like editing like these videos saying that it was an actual punch that instead of an eye poke, which I don't know. It definitely looked like an eye poke to me.
Looked like an eye poke to me.
He's lucky he didn't get disqualified, to be honest, because that was his second.
Right.
That was his second.
Right.
And then he's doing like the fadeaway shot after, like, and then he's putting his hand up like he won. It's like, I like the guy, but he's definitely not being like he's not gaining any fans doing that stuff.
He is quite the character, that's for sure. Sean O'Malley, oh my gosh. Alex, okay, you guys can help me with this man's last name too. Pereira versus Sean Strickland, middleweight bout. KO, actually, at 236 right away. That was quick. Pereira's looked nice. And Strickland Pereira looked, what? He was unranked before the fight, was he not?
Mm-hmm, yep.
And and post-fight, he's jumped all the way to 6, so that's pretty impressive for him.
Do you know his background at all?
Yeah, I was gonna bust you or bust or Spinny. Do you guys know the history of this guy at all?
No, I actually don't. Enlighten us. Enlighten our listeners.
He's a longtime Brazilian kickboxer, and he's actually the only person to ever knock out Israel Adesanya. And he actually beat Israel twice. The first time, there's no like video of it. I've tried to look for it, but I can't find any video. But that he won that by decision, I'm pretty sure. And the second fight, they rematched in Brazil, and Pereira knocked him unconscious. So I have a feeling that Pereira is going to get a title shot very soon, if not the very next title fight for Adesanya.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like Sean. His game plan going in was just like, I am going to kickbox you with one of the best kickboxers in the world. And, he got flattened. The game plan going in was not what he should have done. He definitely underestimated his power.
Yeah, he's got sneaky power. Like, he doesn't really load up or anything crazy either. He's kind of just got, like, that brute strength power.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I was getting from him, too, in that 2 minutes that we got to watch, but...
Him and Izzy will be fun at that. They'll have fun building that fight up for sure. And I'm sure Dana's definitely going to want to do that.
I can't wait for that fight because what other fighter does Izzy really have to?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, let's jump in. Again, I don't know about you guys, but this wasn't the greatest fight night, I thought, to be honest. Because now this next fight, the first title fight, Volk versus Max Holloway. Volk just took care of business as expected. This dude is a freak. I feel like, Brett, last time you were on here, we were talking about, basically spent the whole time talking about who's next for Volk instead of the fight, because every fight he has, he just dominates. Like, Is it time for him to make that jump to the next weight class?
I think it's time for him to move up. I don't think he's got any more competition in the division he's in right now. If he moves up to lightweight, man, that is a stacked division. Stacked.
Yeah, it loads it up even more. And I want to see he is such a small in stature. I want to see him go up and fight some of these bigger dudes because I do think his power it will translate because he did play rugby when he was like 200 pounds. So he's definitely he's had weight on him before and he knows how to be athletic with it. So
I think him versus Gaethje or Chandler would be a good fight if he does come up.
Absolutely, that would
because I think Charles still chokes him out because I don't know. I mean, he did have that fight against Brian Ortega where it looked like he was going to get choked out twice.
Yeah, he had that deep guillotine on him. Yeah. And his head was dark red, and he somehow got out of it.
He didn't tap, and he fought his way out of it. So he's got determination. So I mean, if they want to put Volk right up there against Oliveira, if Oliveira can beat Makhachev, then that would be another insane fight.
I would love that.
It'd be awesome.
That is the way Dana does kind of operate. He doesn't like to do the tune-up fights. He kind of just likes to go for the big fight right away. Anything can happen in a tune-up fight anyway, so you might as well just throw it out there and build it up.
Especially a guy that's beat everyone in his division like Volk. And you can just send it, and it's going to be a good fight.
It kind of be like Connor when they sent him up to lightweight. They just sent him right to the top.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like you got to do that for how much he's dominated his weight class. You got to just send him right to the top. Why would you make him work his way up, honestly? I mean,
but the lightweight division is pretty stacked.
Right.
Facts.
It is. That is a fact. But for those that don't know, that was a unanimous decision. All three judges scored it 50-45. So yeah, it wasn't very close fight. Yeah, it was all Volk from start to finish. So Max Holloway is now 0-3 against Volk. He was given his fair chances and he never was able to succeed. So that just shows you how dominant Alexander Volkanovski is. Should we jump to your man, Brett? One of your mans? Is he one of your mans?
Oh, for sure. I love Izzy.
Adesanya versus oh my God, help me with the
Cannonier.
Cannonier. Okay. Jared Cannonier. This is also unanimous decision, 49-46, 49-46, and 50-45. I wasn't very impressed with Izzy, though, to be honest with you. He seemed like he just didn't really care because he knew he was going to win the whole time because he's just better. He's just way better.
I feel like he didn't have to go. I feel like he was running at half speed the whole time, and he can do that because he's the best, So
yeah.
I mean, he just coasted his way right through this fight. People will call it boring, but I mean, when you have that much control and in the octagon, you can there's so much skill in even what he displayed at 276. But people just don't recognize that. All they want to see is a slugfest or a finish to the fight.
Yeah, it's not at that point, it's on Cannonier late in the fight to do something. You can't can't expect Adesanya to do anything when he's locked up the fight already. I mean, someone else has got to take a chance, and that's just how it is in the fight world.
Yep.
That's major facts. Well, boys, do you guys have any other additional thoughts about UFC 2076, or you want to mention anything about upcoming fights?
I thought that the fight that we didn't mention on the main card was the best fight.
I was going to say that. We kind of missed the best fight.
Yeah, it was Brian Barbarena versus Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
That fight was a slugfest the whole fight. Especially in the end of the second round, or pretty much the whole second round. They're both pretty older, or at least Robbie Lawler is an older guy. He was just swinging for the fences, which he pretty much always does. But you could tell they were both gassed by the end of the second round. I couldn't imagine it going to the third. And Brian Barbarena ended up getting the finish. I think they stopped it a little too soon, but
I thought that too, maybe a titch, but it was close.
Interesting tidbit. I just looked down at all the stats of all the 5 fights in the main card, and there wasn't a single takedown. There were 7 attempted, but in 2 of the fights, but not a single takedown. Which
that is crazy.
Looking back at it, I don't remember anybody ever being on the ground. So unless they were getting knocked out,
I remember them saying that at the end of the Adesanya fight.
Yeah, no, it was usually what they do with that July card is they try to make them all, I don't know, somewhat like interesting. So slugfests are usually the most interesting.
Yep. All right. Anything else we want to add, or should we? Yeah,
otherwise that might be it for all y'all.
All right, Bertus. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you,
Bertus. You're the man.
And we will see you. Peace out.
See you, Brett.
See ya.
Even though you beat me in trivia.
That's what you get.
I cut him off right when he said that.
Yep. Connor's going to stay on and be the judge for our next segment. So that
there's no judge. We post our stuff after, and it's voted on. Come on. Spinny.
No judging.
Yes.
Judging only.
I'll give my one vote.
No. Yes. He can have his vote.
As long as it's for me.
Yeah.
You know what?
As you freaking just gifted him a trivia win with all the questions you gave him.
Speaking of that, you got last in trivia, so I'm making you go first.
You're making me pick first?
Yep.
That's a good thing for me. What are you talking about?
I don't want to pick first, so you get to.
You just gifted me the easiest. Well, are we going to at least tell him what's going on here? Or are we just going to
I suppose we
leave him hanging?
How about you explain it for us, because I'm too rat to remember.
All right, I'll explain it, even though Spinny is the one who created this segment. But we're going to draft the worst free agent signings in the last 20 years in the NBA. And so when it's all said and done, you guys will vote on which of us actually had the worst set of – I think we're going to do 3 picks, right, Spinny?
Yep.
So which of us had the worst 3 contracts altogether? That's what I'm saying. That's why I say if Spinny's giving me the first pick, that's terrible because I'm going to get the worst contract on my team. And in the last 20 years, the worst contract is John Wall's 4-year for $170 million. We mentioned earlier he only has played 85 games-ish or whatever it was in the last 4 seasons. That just easily makes it the worst. The value is one of the highest, if not the highest. I can't remember between this other guy I'm thinking of, which I'm sure is probably your next pick. But John Wall, he had one of the highest annual average income, and then not to mention he didn't try to waste it, but he wasted the entire contract by being hurt the whole time. So they didn't get anything out of him. And so that would be my first pick.
My first pick is going to be a strategic pick because I know you'll pick this at 3 if I don't. And I think you are going to miss my contract that I think is even worse than this one, but I'm not going to pick it right now out of strategery. So we're going to take Westbrook's 5 years for $206. Obviously a horrible contract. Last 3 years of it were exceptionally atrocious. But, so I'm going to take Westbrook 5 for $206.
Oof, this is tough. From here, it gets tough. I'm kind of curious what route you're going to take now that you said that.
A little gamesmanship going on. I like it.
Gotta be.
To me, before we get in the second round, I for sure thought that those were the worst 2. Do you agree, Spinny?
No, actually, I honestly don't really agree. I'm sorry. I think production from this player that I'm about to name was so atrocious that it might be worse.
I don't know if you can get worse than John Wall not even playing and getting paid $45 million. I don't think you can get worse than that.
I don't know.
You can get worse than Russell Westbrook still putting up damn near triple doubles. So is that bad of a contract though? Is it really though?
Look at Russell last 2 seasons.
I'm gonna go.
What's the production?
Yeah.
You go. Yeah, you go, Betty.
I'm sticking with. I'm kind of scared because I feel like I'm gonna pick the wrong guy, and you're gonna take him from me. But I'm gonna take Chandler Parsons, 4-year, $94 million with the Grizzlies. Another situation like John Wall, did nothing. He fell off the face of the earth. His shooting numbers went from like upper 30s to basically 30 flat in terms of 3-point shooting, which was all he could do. And then the injuries were even worse. He didn't play. He hasn't played since this contract. So that is up there in my eyes for one of the worst contracts in the last 20 years.
I had one name written down.
That's over $20 million a year for a guy, Chandler Parsons. You kidding me?
I had one name written down on my notebook sheet right here, Fetty, and it was Chandler Parsons. That's a great pick.
Thank you, Forbrook. All right, let's hear it, Spinny. Don't make us wait anymore.
Gilbert Arenas, 6 years, $111 million. Arenas was given this contract in 2007. After the 07 season, a season where he only played 13 games and had a knee injury. Hey, had that season, then they gave him the contract post knee injury. His next 7 seasons, here's how many games he started. 2, 32, 16, 14, 2, and 0. This man started less than 60 games in the following 6 seasons after he signed this contract. He was gone from the Wizards 2 seasons later. He only played in 47 total games for the Wizards under that contract, and then was traded. He only played in over 47 games once the rest of his career after he was given this contract. So again, games started in years of this contract. 2, 32, 16, 14, 2, and 0. Those are the amount of games started during this 6-year contract.
And he had 100 plus back when 100 plus was a lot of money.
Yes. And he only played a total of 47 games with the Wizards for this contract. 111 mil for 47 games. Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah, that is definitely up there. Who did I pick second? Chandler Parsons? Yeah, I probably should pick Gilbert Arenas, but I like that pick.
Chandler Parsons was respectable.
What? I thought it was a good pick.
I did too.
Yeah, I know, but you made a good argument there for Gilbert Arenas. I like it.
You pick Rudy Gobert right here, and you pick Rudy Gobert right here, and I'll pick your squad, Fetty, no matter
I'm
what.
I'm not picking Rudy Gobert. 0 chance. This one really stands out to me, and I guess it might not, for some people, slide into a top 5 ranking of worst signings in the last 20 years. But to me, it does. And that would be Joakim Noah's 4-year, $72 million with the Knicks that he signed in 2016. That's kind of similar to what Spinny just said with Gilbert. This man, he played only – here, I got it here in a second. He only played 53 games with the Knicks total. He only played 46 games in the first year of the contract and then only in 7 the next year. Here are his stats in the 53 games that he played with the Knicks. And remember, this is almost $20 million a year that he almost made here. He averaged 4.6 points, 2 assists, 8 rebounds. That's it. And he shot 44% free throw and only 48% from the field, which as a center who's shooting around the rim, not good to be shooting under 50%.
Facts.
Very facts there. And then not to mention, you look at the rest of the contract there, like I said, 46 games, only 7 in year 2. In year 3 of that contract, he only started 1 game and played 42. And in year 4, the final year of that contract, he only played in 5 games and started 0 of them. So not look good for Joakim Noah. He definitely finessed a quick little, 72 divided by 4, somehow now 18?
Yeah.
Ish?
That was the summer when the cap jumped, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It was like the KD summer.
The cap jumped in 2016. So if you were happy, if you were just interested
all those other guys.
Hey, let's not give Spinny any ideas here with his last pick.
My last pick is a Lakers 2016 signing, but it is not Timothy Maasdam, an even worse contract. given by the Lakers that summer for Luol Deng. This man, woohoo! 4 years, $72 million for Luol Deng. Same contract Joakim Noah got. Total for the Lakers, he played in 57 games. He averaged 7.6 points and 5 rebounds the first year, and 2 points and 0 rebounds the second year. He only played in 1 game. He essentially only played 1 season with them, and then got traded to Minnesota after that. But this man never averaged over 7.5 or 7.6 was the highest he ever averaged again in his career after he signed this contract. He also didn't even play in the last season of his contract. He retired. So he only played in 3 years of this contract, averaging essentially 7 points a game. So, yeah, super good. Super good contract there for Luol
Deng. And the funny thing that I don't think you mentioned is that of that first season, they made him inactive for the last almost 25 games of the season because they just wanted to play young guys and give them more minutes. So they just sat a guy on the bench that was making 18 mil. He was also 18 mil.
Yep.
So a vet that you apparently really wanted is now making 18 mil and just sitting on the end of your bench, not even playing.
Yep.
That deserves to be in there. I suppose that's it. We'll throw up a graphic here, and you'll be seeing it right about now. And you guys can go ahead and vote. We'll drop a poll, or I don't know how we plan.
Drop a poll on Twitter, and then we'll put an Instagram story on Instagram. We'll add all the votes up, see where we're at.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I do want to throw out, before we jump to our last segment, I do want to just throw out some other quick ones. Maasdam, as you said, that's up there. That's a brutal one. Ian Mahimi, who I don't think is in the league anymore, he got paid $64 million for 4 years in 2016. Like I said, a lot of these are in 2016. Evan Turner,
Ryan Anderson, 4 years, 80 with the Rockets.
Ryan Anderson, we paid Gorgie something big. Gorgie was at least decent, but he was our big 2016.
Evan Turner was 4 years, $70 million. Yeah, Gorgie I think was close to $15 million a year. I think for our contract.
Yeah, ET 4 years, 70 with the Blazers.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Brandon Knight, 5 years, $70 million. That man only knows how to get dunked down or crossed over.
How about the DeAndre Jordan with the Nets recently, where Kyrie and KD said we got to take this guy with, and it's
no, we don't.
Do you? Do you have to? Do we have to have this guy with us?
Well, speaking of the Nets, another really terrible one was almost $100 million, 5 years, $98.8 million. Darren Williams. In 2012, this preceded the brutal trade that we already mentioned that Danny Ainge was able to finesse from the Nets. Yeah, that just sent them into oblivion.
D-Well still averaged 14 and 6.5. I considered that trade as well, but his stats did drop off as soon as he signed it. He never averaged more than 14 again. So, but he still did decent. That's why I left him off. He was my fourth, I think.
Yeah. And one last one would be Josh Smith, 4 year, $54 million with the Pistons, 2013. They already had God, who was their other big? I can't remember. They had Drummond. They had another big. And then they bring in another big, Josh Smith, who they made him play the 3. He barely ended up playing a lot of games with them, and they got rid of him. And it was just a whole disaster. So that could make an honorable mention list, I'm sure. Should we jump into our last segment here now, Spinny?
Should we do it? Let's do it. Are you leaving us, Forbes? Who's staying on for baseball?
Oh, I'll stick on for this.
All right.
Well, you might as well stick on to the end because our Q&A is a question you sent me last week anyway. So you can stay on and just actually ask us.
Let's go.
All right. We'll add Forbrook into our voting discussion for this.
Okay.
We start in AL or NL?
We're going to – what do you want to start in, Spinny? I guess usually when we do baseball, I start NL first usually, but –
let's start AL then. Let's start AL.
Right.
I'll go through the AL ones. You go through the NL ones as far as directing them, and then we'll each answer it.
Let's shout out what we're doing here real quick, Spinny.
We are taking our votes for each of the American League All-Star finalist positions. It has been narrowed down to 2 at every position, and so we're just gonna talk about each position and who we think deserves the starting spot.
Yep, and then we're going to see how accurate we were with our predictions in 2 weeks when the game is. All right. Let's hear it then, Spinny.
American League. We're going to start with the most boring position in Major League Baseball, catcher. Who
catcher.
We got Alejandro Kirk from Toronto and Jose Trevino from the Yankees.
One, I'm definitely going Kirk because I shouted him out last week. The dude's on an absolute tear right now. His slugging percentage is in top 10 in MLB. He deserves to be in the All-Star game. The other dude's only on there because he's a Yankee.
Agreed. Kirk's the one.
Got enough votes.
He's obviously 23, too. He's been balling. I think he deserves it. Cool to see a young guy in there. And obviously, I'm never voting for Trevino because he plays for the Yankees, so I'm biased. You got one? You got a thought, Forbes? You going Kirk or Trevino?
I don't. It's for the catchers. I don't.
No, you don't care about the catchers?
No, I think I left it blank on my All-Star ballot.
Sick. All right, first base. This is one that I think could be a little bias-based, but we're gonna go Vlad Jr. against Ty France.
I'm gonna go Vlad. I think the seasons are close. I think Ty's got him in batting average while Vlad's got him in home runs and RBIs. But I'm gonna go Vlad because he's one of my favorite players, and I do genuinely think he will receive more votes because I just think he's a more popular player than Ty France.
I'm picking Vlad too because I think he'll get the votes over Ty France, but I think France could deserve it. It'd be nice to see him get his first All-Star nod. And Vlad's
I'm sure he'll at least make it.
And Vlad's having a little bit of a down season comparatively, so maybe France will get the edge on that.
It should be Luis Arraez.
Agreed. Luis Arraez.
We didn't do our job and vote enough, so
I guess not. Twins fans. Twins fans be slacking.
Remember vote for Dozier?
Yeah. What happened to vote for Arraez? Sheesh. All right, second base, Altuve or Santiago Espinal?
This is a no-brainer. It's Jose Altuve.
Yeah, you're right. It is a no-brainer because it's Santiago Espinal.
You did not pick Santiago.
I did. I picked him.
Well, there's Spinny's first incorrect prediction.
Nice.
You think Santiago's going to have more votes than Jose Altuve?
Yep, Jose Altuve is a cheater, and thus he will not be voted for as much as Espinal, who I think deserves it. Ranks, he's hitting 275 homers. He's obviously playing on a team that's doing well there in Toronto, so I think we're going to go, Espinal is my pick.
Altuve.
Thank you, Forbrook. Thank you.
Unfortunately.
So we got... Yep. Okay. Third base. This is another obvious one. We got Jose Ramirez of the Guardians and Rafael Devers of the Boston Red Sox.
Maybe it's obvious for you.
He said the last one was obvious, so give it to me then, Bus. Why you think Devers should not
I'm going Devers.
I roll.
I'm going Rafael Devers. He is having an absolutely outstanding career. And one thing we know about the All-Star game in the MLB is that the big market teams get the players in because they have more voters. You shouldn't be surprised if a Boston team gets their stud third baseman into the game to be a starting lineup. I would not be shocked there. I don't think Cleveland's going to have enough votes because no AL Central team is going to vote for a rival. So, I'm not going to vote for Jose. Screw Cleveland. I'm not voting for them. I'll vote for Devers.
No,
that's my prediction. Devers.
Jose's had an MVP caliber season this year in the AL, so he definitely deserves to be the one.
And Devers hasn't?
Nope, not as good. Not as good of a season.
Oh, well, I do know that he has a ridiculously higher batting average than Jose Ramirez, but whatever.
True, but Ramirez leads the league in RBIs on a bummy Guardians team. So, impressive.
You're wrong yet again.
Why?
You're just going to be wrong. You're just a little too biased. You like your guy a little bit too much. Remember, we're picking who's going to earn the starting spot, not necessarily who we want.
Bo Bichette, Tim Anderson.
This one really stumped me. I'm going Tim Anderson, I guess. I went
Tim Anderson too. I thought this one was really close. I honestly hate picking White Sox guys, but I went that way. I think Anderson might get the votes on this one.
Yeah.
It's going to be close.
Timmy A. All right, now we got the outfielders. So for this one, there's 4, and I believe 2 get it right because Judge already made it as the top vote getter.
2. We got to pick 2.
There's 2 left between Trout, Springer, Stanton, and Lourdes Gurriel.
To me, there might be some questions over the second guy, but I think for sure Mike Trout's getting in. I would be shocked because he's just an MLB favorite. Everyone loves Mike Trout.
Yeah, Trout's getting.
So I would be shocked he doesn't get enough votes. So pick 1 would be Trout for me, and then 2, similar to what I've been doing so far, I'm going to do Stanton. I think big market team. There's going to be a ton of people in New York voting for him. So I think Stanton slides in and gets the start out in the outfield next to Judge.
I went Trout and Stanton as well. Stanton's had a big comeback this year, so I think that's going to add to it is that he has had the down couple of years, so it's going to he took his voter fatigue away a bit, and now he's coming back. So I think he'll get on there as well. And Trout's obviously the best player in the league. So, all right, DH last spot: Yordan Alvarez and Shohei Ohtani.
This is obviously like probably the most up in the air one.
Just going off the hitting, I think, but I don't. Based on
this, to me, I think statistically and based on the hitting, like you said, I think Alvarez having a better year, but I don't know. This is tough. I'm gonna go Shohei. I think. He gets those worldwide votes as well. Like he's not just liked in America; he's liked in Japan as well. So I don't know. It's going to be really tough, and I hope whoever does get it, the other one, because there's no way they're not both at least in the game.
Yeah,
right?
They're both in the game.
Okay.
I picked Yordan because I can't pick against the league leader in slugging and OPS, and that's what Yordan's doing right now. He's obviously dominating. Right. So I just went Yordan on that one.
I like it.
Are we going to pick a pitcher?
I did. Did you?
Yeah.
So that would be the one thing I guess we don't know anything about, like who's going to get in because they haven't released anything in regards to the pitchers. I'm going to go with a guy who's I don't think having as good of a season as this other dude I'm thinking of, but I'm going to go Justin Verlander. Obviously, insane season he's having, especially right off Tommy John and the age he is. So that's why I think they're going to give it to him because this is probably one of his last years that he'd be able to do it. And statistically speaking, he's obviously deserving as well.
Who is your other one, if I can ask? Just curious.
Shane McClanahan would be my other one just because he has ridiculous numbers, leads the MLB in a number of categories. So
I went Verlander as well. I think obviously given his killer season at this late of an age, he has a bigger chance to get it. But McClanahan also, those are my 2 guys as well that I had.
You've got to be one of those 2. All right, let's jump to the NL now. You started
for
with
Bus
what?
To take over the talking. Let's go.
Except I don't have MLB.
You don't have a list for me?
No, I just only wrote down my picks. All right, I got it.
All right. Oh, okay. Forbrook will read it off for us.
Okay, tell us.
All right, at catcher, Wilson Contreras and Travis D'Arnaud. How do you say that?
I think that's right.
D'Arnaud? I think it's D'Arnaud or something weird like that.
Okay.
I'm going Wilson Contreras just because I think he's having a better season, and he's probably the only guy the Cubs will get, I imagine. So
yeah,
I'm going Wilson Contreras.
That's why I want Contreras too, is I feel like he's the one guy that the Cubs are going to get.
First base, Paul Goldschmidt and Pete Alonso.
This is another one that's super tough because both of these guys absolutely 100% deserve to start this game, given what they've been doing so far. I'm going Goldschmidt, though. Second MLB in batting average. He's already seen that climb to above 340 now. Ton of home runs, ton of RBIs, and you know them St. Louis fans are going to be voting. So
I went with Pete. I feel like he deserves it. He's not really been on this level before. He's absolutely smashing homers and ribbies this season, up in the top 3 in both those categories. So, plus he's a Met. So that's why I went with Pete Alonso.
All right, second base, Ozzy Albies.
Ozzy Albies, I think.
Albies and Jazz Chisholm Jr. Chisholm.
Wait, Ozzy's really.
You guys are making me do the thing.
Yeah,
I'm picking Jazz Chisholm. I don't know. It's another guy that I kind of wonder if. Obviously, Alcantara is going to get in, but they don't really have anyone else. Meanwhile, the Braves are loaded with guys. So I don't know. I don't know about that one. I'm going Jazz though. That one's just a toss up in my eyes.
I went Ozzy. I think he's going to get the votes, even though he's hurt. Probably won't play the rest of the season. I think he might get the votes from the ATL fans to win this one.
All right, for third base, we got Manny Machado and Nolan Arenado.
Oof. I feel like the NL is harder than the AL, but I'm going Machado here. I think he's statistically speaking, Arenado's like starting to climb back towards Machado, but Machado has done it this entire season. Meanwhile, Arenado's been a slow start and surge now. So I just think that aspect is going to give Machado the advantage, and I do like him being in California, the most populous state in the country. So
I went with Nolan. Again, St. Louis fans coming out. Nolan's defense probably a tad bit better than Machado's as well. So I went with Arenado.
Shortstop, Trey Turner.
This one's tough.
And Dansby Swanson.
This one's tough. I'm going
to go first this time.
Go for it.
I went with Trey. I think the Dodgers are going to – this is going to be one of the guys that they get. And I think there's been too many there's too many Atlanta Braves up there. And Swanson is having a great season, but he's not as big of a name as like Albies and Acuna, obviously. So I think Trey's going to get the LA vote and win this one.
Yeah, that's essentially my same reasoning. I picked Trey Turner as well. And as I said last time, he with Machado, they live in Cali. It's a shit ton of people in Cali. So a lot of potential voters there. And that's going to be a trend you will see now in my outfield as well.
All right, so outfield, Acuna's already got it. So the last two are down to Mookie, Jock, Starling Marte, and Adam Duvall.
One, it is hilarious that Duvall's made it this far. He absolutely does not deserve to be in starting conversation. The dude is batting like 208.
Yep. I went with Jock and Starling Marte, actually. I think Jock's going to get a lot of the votes. Obviously, there's that thing with Tommy Pham and that whole little cult following he's got based on that's getting him some votes as well. Mookie Betts relinquished his top vote getter spot to Ronald Acuna because he has that rib fracture. So I think there's a chance because of that he might not take this one either. So that's why I went with Peterson and Marte.
Oh, wow. I wish I would have known that little tidbit before I made my prediction, but I'm sticking with Mookie. And just because in my eyes, it's how do you leave Mookie Betts out of the All-Star game? Like, dude's a freaking stud. And Jock. I'm sticking with Jock, though. That, like I said, I'm sticking with that Cali trend. A lot of voters in Cali, so I like Jock. He's having a good year, too. Last one, or I guess we're doing pitchers, too. But
designated hitter, Bryce Harper and William Contreras.
This one's a no-brainer to me. William is a rookie, I believe. And is he? I'm pretty sure he's a rookie. He is Wilson's brother, so I just don't think he has any chance against Bryce Harper, the reigning MVP. Bryce Harper's my pick.
Yeah, Bryce is winning this one. All right, boss. Who you got for pitchers?
Pitcher.
Again,
I'm sticking to my Cali vibe here. I'm going Tony Gonsolin. He's tied for the MLB in wins. He has the lowest ERA in the MLB. And the easiest way to determine this, the game is at Dodger Stadium. They got to let a Dodger pitcher start at Dodger Stadium, right? I don't know. That's just my thought. So I'm going Tony Gonsolin.
I get that. I probably should have went that way, but I'm going to stick with the guy who's top 5 in all statistical pitching categories, and that is Sandy Alcantara. I think he should be the NL starter.
Let's go. Thank you for shouting out my man. Thank you. That would be amazing.
That was painful. That was painful for me to do, by the way.
I mean, he could obviously.
You guys talk about AL pitchers?
Yeah, Justin Verlander, we both picked.
Yeah.
Honorable mention to
McClanahan.
Because
he's deserving as well. So I think that's solid though, Spinny. I think probably those are the 4. I honestly that should be in discussion. And
I agree.
Could be totally wrong, but those would be the only 4 that I would bring up. So that was it, fans. Hardy's.
That was it. 2 hours later. 2 hours later.
Okay. That's okay.
Say that was it.
There's nothing new here. They're used to these episodes creeping to that 2-hour mark. There's no difference here.
They're used to Connor winning trivia again.
Yeah, we have 4-person trivia. There's a lot of things that add up time here. Forbrook, you want to ask us this Q&A, and then we'll get our Hardys and Hardos on the road?
Oh, yeah. So my question was, I actually asked you last week, but then the hot dog contest was this week. It was food related. If you had to be in a food eating contest for your life, and you were just with like some random people, what would you pick? What could you eat the fastest?
Like actually,
or the most? Like the most of like 10 minutes.
Combo.
Spinny, if you have an answer, you shout one out. Because right now I'm debating between 2 things.
Mine would be an ice cream sandwich. I think I could dominate an ice cream sandwich eating contest because ice cream's like my favorite thing with just a little bit of chocolate. I would devour those.
You're not worried about like a brain freeze or a throat freeze kicking in?
No. The actual like the chocolate part of it mitigates that. It's perfect. You can just down those things.
But when you're eating that many that quickly, you sure?
I'm a pro.
All right, I like it.
I think I would go spaghetti. Actually, I think that would be mine. Yeah, because you can just stuff it in, take a couple bites, drink a milk water, and just bang. I think that would be my best odds. Spaghetti.
Well,
you beat me.
I feel like both of you, or at least Spinny, should know what I'm going
to say.
Cookies. Milk and cookies. There's no doubt about it. If I get a glass of milk, milk cookies. If I get a glass of milk and you throw me some Chips Ahoy or some Oreos, I will polish off that whole container before anyone else does. There's no chance I don't. So it's got to be milk and cookies.
Somebody please make this like a Instagram reel, please, of him. Just maybe we'll have to make an Instagram reel.
I was gonna say, why don't we?
Because milk and cookies needs to be documented. We got the merch. He called himself. He.
How many chocolate chip cookies do you think you could eat in
10 minutes?
10 minutes.
In 10 minutes, okay, but Chips Ahoy size cookies? Okay.
Your choice.
Chips Ahoy, crunchy. Chips Ahoy. In 10 minutes.
Crunchy? What a commie. Who eats crunchy Chips Ahoy?
I like the crunchy.
What?
One. Yes, crunchy's better.
Chewy over crunchy all day, every day.
One. No. Crunchy's better. And 2, crunchy's easier to eat at a faster speed. I could easily get, I would probably say at least a family size pack of crunchy.
That's it?
And bro, we're talking, I think you're underestimating how hard this stuff is, Forbrook.
Well, this is for your life, so I think
I mean, it's for my life. I'm shoveling them in my throat. And plus the milk too. That's why I said milk and cookies. You got to finish off the milk for there to be a true winner.
Milk and cookies, spaghetti, and ice cream sandwiches. It definitely couldn't be anything sweet for me. Anything sweet, I'd lose. I'd die. I'd be dead, honestly.
Spaghetti, that's crazy. That would honestly be the slowest food eating contest there is. But you just got a plate of spaghetti and just grab another plate or what?
Yeah, I just take it and just
just slide down your throat.
Yeah,
noodles.
Open it up. Open up the throat, Bus would know what that's like, so you just be doing that.
Oh, come on.
So Bus might win this one for that.
You got to cut
Throwing in a little gem at the end here. Nice, Spinny. Just got to roast me sick.
Just had to slide it in a little.
All right, y'all.
Anyways, that wasn't a roast. It was just a statement. We love you all, hard-headed fans.
We love you all, Hardies and Hardos.
A very fun episode for us.
Thanks for having me.
It was awesome.
Thanks for being on. Thanks for staying for the whole 2 hours. You grinded this thing with us.
Yeah, that was a grind.
It's a little bit of a marathon. Peace and love. Hug your friends and family, and get those cats spayed and neutered. We love you.